20 teams in the Premier League. That's how many there are. But one player stands out for each of them. In this video, we're going to decide which one is worthy enough to play for Manchester United. Every single team. Every single team. What's up, everybody? It's the Sports Code, aka Aiden. Welcome back to another video. Before we get started on this video, please like and subscribe and let me know which player from every team that you would take. Or you could specify for your own team, the team that you go for. Which player would you take from any team and put into your team? So let's say if you go for Liverpool, which player would you take from Norwich and put into your team, and vice versa for any other team? This is going to be a very interesting video. There are some players that I would really like at Manchester United, and there are some players that it's just one of those things where I don't really like any player on their team in particular, but I'd take one if I had to choose. So it's just an interesting mix of who I would take, who I would actually, which teams I really like, which players I think have potential, and etc, etc. There's a lot to go through, so let's get started with the very first team. We're going from bottom of the ladder to the very top of the ladder. So if you're looking for your team, if your team is Liverpool, you'll probably go to the end of the video. If you're looking for Norwich, the very beginning. So for Norwich City, the player I would take is Max Aarons. Max Aarons, I believe, is a fullback, currently linked to Liverpool, I believe. That's the player. Very young, high potential. Norwich play the right way. I really rate Norwich's team. They play the right way, but they just don't have the players that that can run that system as good as most other teams that do. That have the players like a Man United, like a Liverpool. But Max Aarons is a very high quality player. I believe Liverpool and Spurs are linked to him, and I think Spurs will most likely get him actually. And he's a very good player. He's a young, hard-working player, and I think Norwich has a real gem on their hands that they can cash in very well with. So Max Aarons is definitely one to consider. Aston Villa, no-brainer here. I like Aston Villa, but it's a no-brainer. As a Manchester United fan, you go Jack Grealish here. Jack Grealish in potential relegation battles with Aston Villa could potentially get him even cheaper if Aston Villa need to sell. And plus, he's a quality player that has room to grow. He has leadership qualities. He has traits that Manchester United are looking for. And we have the money to do it. So I think this is probably the most realistic out of most players in this list of the Premier League teams. Jack Grealish is probably the one that's definitely doable. So hopefully that gets done. I really want that to get done. Moving on to the next team, we've got Bournemouth. Very surprised Bournemouth are in the relegation zone, but I guess there's just some teams, the run comes to an end, and I think Bournemouth might be at their end, or they could potentially scrape out of the relegation battle, which is my bet. The one player I had to choose from Bournemouth, it's very simple here, Nathan Ake. Nathan Ake is a player that I've been hyped on for years now. And I'm very stunned he hasn't left Bournemouth, and I hope if he leaves Bournemouth, Manchester United is the place to go. I do think we're in need of another centre-back. I think Nathan Ake is the type of centre-back that we're looking for. He's quick, he can win things in the air, he's positionally well, he's positioned well, and I think he's at the right age where he can contribute straight away at Manchester United. This is almost a perfect signing to me if we are looking for another centre-back. Nathan Ake is that guy for us. I believe Chelsea might be interested in Nathan Ake if they had to get another centre-back in as well, but hopefully Manchester United can look at a player like Nathan Ake and bring him into the club, because I know he's expensive, but I think he could definitely do work for our team. I think he could definitely improve us. Even if he's not a starter, he could definitely improve us. Watford. Now, Watford is a team that I don't necessarily like their playing style, but they have quality players. And the two that I was mixed up with is Doucouré and Sarr, but in the end I went with Sarr. Now, the reason why, I believe Sarr recently joined Watford first of all, so I know if there was a deal in place there, it wouldn't happen this season, this summer. But Sarr, he's a very good winger, you know. He's a very good winger. He has very good potential. He's been a person that I've known about for many years, but I never really saw how good he was until he joined the Premier League. And now that we know he can do it in the Premier League, Manchester United should be knocking on the door for that deal and get it done as quick as possible. it's similar to a Haaland type situation. If we were linked to Sarr and he ended up going to Watford, eventually down the line we would have to try and negotiate a deal with Watford to get him. Sometimes deals might not happen for Man United straight away, but there's always a chance to get them down the line. I feel like Sarr's that player. So hopefully in the future we can sign a quality winger like that can make an impact off the bench as well as potentially starting games for us. Sarr's that perfect guy for me, along with others we'll get to later on. West Ham United. Now, I think the main one would be Felipe Anderson, but I decided to go with something that we'd probably need, and that's Declan Rice. Now, people that watch Declan Rice say that he's not very good, but you have to look at his age here. His age is very important. The guy's still adapting and learning with his team. He's relatively new in a promoted. He's been at West Ham for a while, but he's been promoted to the first team. He's still adapting. And being a CDM, I think it takes years and years and years to adapt. It's reading the game properly. Not everybody can do that straight away. I think with Declan Rice playing for a quality team like Manchester United, we can get the best out of him. It's one of those situations where players might be good, but when they join a better team, they get better themselves. That's what I believe in. That would happen to Declan Rice if he joined Manchester United. He would only get better, and that's what we need. That's what we're looking for. That's the type of player. He's young, he might not be ready straight away, but we could definitely see him in future years being a very important starting player for Manchester United. I think that's what we need more than anything at the moment. Or maybe someone that's going to be ready now, which we'll get to later on. There is another player I have on this list that could also plays in the same position. I'm sure if you guys already know who it is, but just in case if you don't, keep watching till the end of the video. Declan Rice is my guy. Brighton. Now, to be honest, I don't really want anybody from Brighton. They're one of those teams I just really don't like. I think we've been linked with one of their wingers. I can't remember for the life of me who it is, so I apologize for that. If he's linked to us, then I would have picked him. But since I don't know, I'm going to go with Matty Ryan, the goalkeeper for Brighton. No real reason here, except I'm Australian, he's Australian. I want to back the Australian team. I think Australia is a very good team for football. We've been underrated for many, many years, and he's definitely a very big, impactful player for our team. Matty Ryan, a Premier League goalkeeper. He'd be a perfect backup goalkeeper if Romero decided he wanted to dip, which thank goodness he hasn't. But if there was someone that we would need to get as a backup goalkeeper, Matty Ryan is the one for me. And like I said, I've always wanted Man United to sign an Australian talent. I know we don't have the top of the top quality players in our teams, but we do have a lot of youngsters that can get very good if they played for a Manchester United side. And I hope that down the line, some quality player will be able to do that for us. But until then, I'm backing my Australian goalkeeper. I'm backing Matty Ryan, and hopefully down the line, we can get an Australian at Manchester United. That'd be a dream of mine. Southampton, again, not many people I'd go for Southampton, but the one person that did impress me when we played them, Manchester United that being, is Jannik Vestergaard. He's a centre-back, 27 years of age, so of course he's not the youth that we're trying to look into, but he was definitely a very good centre-back when they versed us. He scored against us from a header. He seems quick for his size. He looks like a giant as well. He's massive, and I think eventually he will leave Southampton because I feel like he is getting better for that team. But I don't think he's good enough to be a starter for a top 4 team. That's just sort of the level I think he's at. People said that about Van Dijk, and then look what he is now. So at 27 years, maybe it is time for him to make that move and get to a bigger team, I guess. We'll see what happens. He's just a guy that impressed me. That's the only reason I picked him. I don't know much about him. All I know is the games that he versed us, or the game that he versed us, he did very well. And he was the reason for the draw. So, yeah, we'll move on from that one. Newcastle. This one, again, Newcastle's a team where they've improved a lot, I think, in recent times, but the player that I'd want most is the winger, Alan St. Maximum. Sorry, it was a bit of a struggle to say his name, but you all know who I mean. He's a FIFA god, if you guys didn't know about that. That guy's insane on FIFA. But I think he could definitely do a job in Manchester United in real life. We need backup wingers. We need wingers that has pace and can take players on. And I feel like he could definitely do that. The one thing I have to say is that his final ball, his shots, is not the greatest. And I think it's similar to a Adama Traore type player, where he's got the pace, he's got the body, he's got the strength to take on a player if need be. But the end ball, it's similar to Dan James as well. The end ball isn't quality enough, and I think that's what we would need to improve on if he was to have a chance at Manchester United. But again, a young, upcoming player that is ready to make the next step, that's the type of players that I would really like. So if he's one of the favourites in this list, I would definitely take him in a heartbeat out of anybody in Newcastle. Now, going to Everton now. Everton, this one's plain and simple for me, it's Richarlison. Now, as much as people drag on about Richarlison being world-class, I don't think Richarlison's world-class yet. I think he has definitely has the potential to be. I think he can be better than what he is now. I just think he might need to change teams to do that. Not necessarily Manchester United. I don't think that would ever be in the works, to be honest, because it would cost too much. But at Real Madrid, or maybe even a team in Italy, to actually solidify himself as a world-class player, because I don't think Everton can keep their players, to be honest. I think if he wanted to leave, they'd let him go. And if for him to be world-class, he might just have to take that next step in his life. We'll see what happens. And for Richarlison, I would definitely take him at Manchester United if the opportunity presented. He's a quality player. He's on the verge of being world-class, really. But I think if he joined a bigger team, that would just solidify him as that player, as the man on a team. And we'll see what team would take a chance on him down the line. Hopefully it would be Manchester United, but again, very unlikely. Most of these players are unlikely, to be fair. Going into the next position, Crystal Palace. This one is also straightforward for me. Wilfried Zaha, the best player by far, not even close on Crystal Palace. And he has played for Manchester United before. He's been linked to us many, many times. He fills the position that we need. He's 27, and he would probably be one of our best players if he comes in. There's nothing more I need to say about this player, this pick, really. He's a fantastic quality player. I rate Zaha a lot, and I almost regret letting him go, but I feel like if we didn't let him go, he wouldn't be anywhere near the player he is now. Sometimes you have to let them go to bring them back, similar to a Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba developed and became a player that would be very useful for us, and we got him back. Zaha is similar, and plus I think we have 25 million, 20%, sorry, it would be 20% buyback clause, not necessarily buyback clause, but whoever buys him we get 20 million of that. So if we buy him, we pretty much save 20 million on that signing. So that's good. That's a good thing to have over a player, and especially a player like that where we could definitely bring him in. Burnley, again, I don't know much about Burnley. I don't know much about Burnley at all, but I've gone with someone that we've been relatively linked to, and that's Dwight McNeil, a winger. Apparently he's very, very good on a Burnley side that's not necessarily the best attacking line in the Premier League at all by any stretch of the means. He's been very, very good for them. So I would take Dwight McNeil because he's already been linked to us. And just doing some research, he plays as a winger and an attacking midfielder, two positions where if he was to come in and come off the bench, two positions that we would definitely need. So he'd definitely get game time here, and we'll see how things go down the line. Or sometimes you just got to have to prove yourself, and the Premier League is the best place to do that, which is why we should be looking at Premier League talent more than abroad. But even abroad, we have to consider, which I might do a video about. But at the end of the day, I would definitely take Dwight McNeil. If he's already been linked to us, then there's a reason why. He's clearly a good player. Arsenal. Arsenal. I wouldn't take many players from Arsenal, to be fair. I think all around we have better players, but the players that are better on their side are really much better, and I think that's the difference between Man United and Arsenal. I think we have a better all-around team, but their world-class players are proper world-class players. They don't have much, but the person I take is Aubameyang. How could it not be Aubameyang? He's been wanting to leave. He's not coming to Manchester United. I know there's been links. No chance that's happening. He's not coming to Manchester United. He's not gonna. He clearly loves Arsenal. He would never do that. He wouldn't do what Van Persie did. I know Van Persie loved Arsenal as well, but I feel like he would go abroad before he would come to Manchester United. I think if he would come to Manchester United, it's because no one else would want him. That's what I think. I would 100% take Arsenal, take Aubameyang away from Arsenal and into Manchester United. There's no doubt about it in my mind. He's a goal scorer, and he can definitely do things on the field that not many strikers can do. His aim is to score goals, and our aim is to score goals, and he could do that for us. So that's the one person I'd take from Arsenal. Other than that, they have very good young players, but they're not ready yet, and I wouldn't really take anybody else from Arsenal. Look, a rivalry team, so like if Man United weren't rivals with Arsenal, I would look probably more into a lot of their players to say I'd really rate them. It's just one of those rivalry things. I respect Arsenal in many ways, and in some ways I don't. But they have good young players, but I'll take Aubameyang. Spurs, another team we've been in rivalry with. Wouldn't take many players from Spurs either. They have very good centre backs. They have decent players. Don't get me wrong, but again, a rivalry team. The one player I would take from Spurs, the one player I would actually crave to have at Manchester United. I absolutely adore this player. I would hope he could eventually come to Manchester United, but it's never going to happen. But one can only pray. I would take Heung-min Son. I would take Son in a heartbeat. I really rate this guy. I absolutely adore Son. He's my favourite player outside of Manchester United in the Premier League. He's I know we've been linked to Harry Kane, but I would take Son over Harry Kane any day of the week. I love Kane, I love Son, but Son is the guy for me. Son is the guy that makes Spurs tick. Without Son, the Spurs aren't the same. And I'd hope one day Manchester United could acquire a talent like that. But time's ticking, and I don't think that's ever going to happen, which is very sad, man. It's very sad. But I would take Son in a heartbeat. Let me know what you guys think about that one. That's the one player I would adore to have at Manchester United. Sheffield United now. This is a bit of a cop-out. I will take Henderson, the goalkeeper. He's already on loan to Sheffield from Manchester United. I would take him back. I'd take him back, and because Sheffield United, they have a bunch of good players, but I don't think one player on their team could, maybe their CDM, but I think Henderson's been their standout player, to be honest. I think he's been their best player. He's almost ready for an England call-up, so why wouldn't I take him back? If there's any chance that De Gea doesn't want to stay here, which is very, very slim pickings at the moment, but if there was a chance, I would take Henderson back. If there was a place for him, if that's what I mean. Going into the next team, we're getting to the bigger teams here. Wolves. Wolves, they have a lot of quality players. They have Adama Traore, they have Neves, they have their goalkeeper. They have a lot. Their team is very well rounded. I would take Ruben Neves from Wolves, just quite frankly. I know people say Adama Traore. Adama Traore is a favourite for Manchester United. People absolutely love Adama Traore over this side of Manchester. Well, all Manchester United fans, most of them really like Adama Traore. But I think Neves is a perfect CDM for us. A guy that can read the play well. He can put a tackle in, but he can also bang shots from outside the box in a scenario where he needs to. He does have that ability to shoot long range. I think a CDM in this modern day, that would be very useful for us. Someone that could just bang them in from long distance when there's we can't seem to get at a team, or we can't seem to create anything against the team like that. Sometimes it takes a little bit of magic, and I think Ruben Neves is definitely a player that can provide, and hopefully this thing could happen. We've been linked to him for a little bit. Now I know this is a cheat, but I'm going to go for Manchester United, and because I just really want to add this player in. This is all this list is for Manchester United. So for this one, for Man United, promote Angel Gomez. We need a backup central attacking midfielder. Andreas Pereira, Jesse Lingard aren't cutting it. Mata's getting older. Why not give Angel Gomez that chance to prove himself? I think it's honestly a shambles how they've treated Angel Gomez. They could have done so much better with a talent like that, but they decided to let it run and let it run and let it run. Oh, he'll get his game time eventually. We've been in the Europa League for the longest time, and we still have not given this guy many chances at all. So Angel Gomez is the one where I would say, look, let's get him playing. As whether it's the FA Cup, whether it's Europa League, whatever happens this season, we need to get him playing, let him sign a contract, and let him show that his future's at Manchester United. It's been a shambles how we've treated him compared to others that at the time probably were just as ready as Angel Gomez. But Mason Greenwood's been given the opportunity. Angel Gomez needs to be the same. I think we've been talking about him for years, and he deserves the chance. Chelsea. Another rival team. Chelsea have a lot of young, upcoming talent that I definitely would love at Manchester United because they're the team that we're looking to be. A lot of young players performing at the highest of levels. But I can't get past this guy. I don't understand how some Chelsea fans hate him or thinks he should be dropped or whatever it is. I would take Rudiger in a heartbeat for Manchester United. He's the perfect centre-back to pair up with Maguire. He's quick, he's dominant in the air, he reads the ball well, he can play from the back. He is something that Manchester United would absolutely love. If there was one player I'd take from Chelsea, that's the guy. That's the guy right there, no question, no doubt in my mind. He would be a successful signing for Manchester United. He would bring us to the next level. He would bring us in the top 4 every year. I truly believe that. I don't know why Chelsea fans just don't seem to rate this guy anymore, but I rate him. I rate him a lot. Bring him into Manchester United. If Chelsea don't want him, that's its player I would take in a heartbeat. Leicester City. There are a lot from Leicester City, you know. The main two we've been linked to is James Maddison and Ndidi. I'm going to go for Ndidi. I think Ndidi fills a position that we desperately need. He's a specialist CDM. He reads the ball well. He can win a header in the box. We've seen that against Chelsea. He's a good passer of the ball. But at the end of the day, we need someone that can just make defensive plays. And he's definitely a specialist at that. We're similar to a Kante. And hopefully he would bring the same impact that Kante brought to Chelsea. If we did get Ndidi, he would bring to Manchester United. But again, that seems a little bit far-fetched. We're definitely not linked to Ndidi. We are linked to Ndidi, but we're definitely not going to get him. I just think it's way too expensive. And Manchester United are not looking at a player like that. I don't think we're going to get a CDM. Manchester City. Again, big rivalry here with Manchester City, but I can't refuse Kevin De Bruyne. If Kevin De Bruyne went to Manchester United and said, if you pay an X amount of money to Man City, they'll let me go and I'll come to you guys, we take that in a heartbeat. Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best players in the world, and he should not be taken lightly if he was up for grabs. If Kevin De Bruyne opened himself up in the transfer market, Real Madrid would call in a heartbeat. Just like that. Barcelona, just like that. You have the whole world competing for Kevin De Bruyne. And there's a reason why. He's a quality player. And Man City are clearly not the same team without him. We've seen when Kevin De Bruyne is injured, we've seen Man City crumble. And I think that's the main reason why they haven't won the league this year. Because Kevin De Bruyne, he's been injured and their defense has been injured. And Man City have just crumbled. And that's saying that they're second and they've crumbled is extremely weird thing to say, but Liverpool have just taken it to another level here. Speaking of Liverpool, I would not take anybody from Liverpool. But if you put a gun to my head, you told me I want one player from Liverpool. You give me that one player from Liverpool, and I'm a Manchester United boss, I would take Mohamed Salah. The reason why? I'm Egyptian, he's Egyptian. That's pretty much the only reason I would do it. Besides that, I wouldn't take anybody from Liverpool. And I know that they're a fantastic team. Their team's clearly better than ours, but the rivalry for me is just too strong. We haven't seen many people go from Man United to Liverpool and Liverpool to Man United and end up benefiting from either of the fans as well as their career. It hasn't worked out well for anybody that has. And that's why I wouldn't take anybody from Liverpool. So my real answer is no one. But if you put a gun to my head, I would go say Mo Salah because he's an Egyptian and I'm an Egyptian. So I clearly have respect and I like the guy. And that's the only reason I would take him at Man United. I don't think he really suits us more than Liverpool. I think he's very inconsistent, but he is a quality player and I would take him if I absolutely had to. So those are all the teams. 24 minutes, 20 teams. Interesting to see. how much I know about the Premier League. I don't claim to know a lot, but some of these players are real promising players. You know, the Premier League's the best league in the world for a reason. Players from every team have potential to make it big time, and not only in the Premier League but abroad as well. The Premier League is the ultimate proving ground. If you can prove yourself in the Premier League, you can prove yourself anywhere. And this is why I made a Premier League specific video. It's top quality teams here, top quality competition. Nothing comes close to the Premier League in terms of competition. You can claim that the Bundesliga is good. Bundesliga is good. La Liga is good. Italy is good. Nothing compares to the competition of the Premier League, the excitement of the Premier League, and of course the teams involved in the Premier League. A lot of these teams abroad won't survive in the Premier League, and I'm saying that as a fact. So let me know what you guys think. I want to thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let me know from which players you would get onto your team from the Premier League, one from each team, or if you're looking for just one specific player. Anything will help. Let me know. Let me get a little bit more educated about the Premier League. I do know a decent amount, but there's of course more to learn. And if you stop learning, then you should stop watching. There's always something to learn through everything in life, and the Premier League doesn't exclude from that. So this is the Sports Code. Have a safe and wonderful day wherever you are. Take care and peace.